Hello. Well, welcome to Making It in Music. I'm so excited today to welcome my guest here. And if you're seeing double, don't worry. It is intentional. I've got not one, but two incredible artists here, the I.Con Twins. Welcome, Carmina and Calvina here.
Louis, thank you so much. I'm Calvina. I'm Carmina. I.Con Twins.
Yay! Welcome to Making It in Music. I'll just read a little bit of background here. I.Con Twins stands for I Am Confident, the award-winning Chinese-Canadian pop duo from Calgary with roots in Hong Kong, and features twin singer-songwriters that you just met, blending traditional Chinese sounds with modern pop and English lyrics. So they create empowering culture-infused music. I'm so happy to have you here, and congrats on your debuting your mini album.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's amazing to put it out there. So let's start at the beginning here. For people that don't know you, when they first discover I.Con Twins for the first time, what do you hope they feel or before understanding your music?
What do we hope for our audience to feel?
Yeah, or to know about you basically. What do you want them to know about you?
So first of all, we're identical twins, and we're Canadians. We're born and raised in Calgary, and also we used to be in banking. So, because then, as just long story short, we used to be in banking because we're born and raised in an Asian household where we were conditioned to feel and to believe that, having a steady, corporate job is, the way to go. And so that's what we did. And that's why we took on banking, graduated, and then we took on banking. And then so at a certain point, we felt stuck and unfulfilled. So that's why we decided to pursue our career in music. And here we are, we're singer-songwriters, releasing our own music, performing in Calgary. And also we once moved to Hong Kong as well, and which is where it kickstarted our music career from scratch. And so now we write neo-Chinese pop, 中国风 music, where we blend traditional Chinese sounds and elements with guzheng, erhu, and dizi, with modern pop beats and also with English lyrics to tell our story and to give a message, empowering message about identity and also culture as well.
Mm-hmm. Great.
Yeah.
That's okay. So yeah. So what do you remember the exact moment that you realize comfort is no longer enough, like a stable job, or is there any particular moment that comes to mind, or was it a gradual thing that, you feel like you change career?
Yeah, like Carmina was saying that, growing up in an Asian household, we always thought that, success means like a linear path where you graduate and then get a corporate job and then you climb the corporate ladder and then that's success. And, so for ourselves, the turning point was kind of, so we were climbing the corporate ladder and we, at a point we reached our goals, but then we thought that we were going to be feeling very fulfilled and happy and, we made it kind of thing. But when we got there, we actually felt kind of lost and stuck, and we didn't really know why. So we actually went on a self-reflection and self-discovery journey. We actually went to Hong Kong. We went to Hong Kong as like a sister trip, just to kind of clear our minds and find clarity. Yeah, to find clarity in our path. And from there, we finally kind of felt like very connected with the culture in Hong Kong because our family, we have roots in Hong Kong. And so then we were like, hey, maybe we can move here and pursue our dream, because we realized that even though, because banking means steady and a steady job and just kind of stability for us, but then we were missing that passion and the dream that we always had when we were a child, which is to be in music and to be singers and to be performing artists. But, we were kind of conditioned to have the belief that pursuing music was not really a career. It was more like a hobby and, like a side interest kind of thing. But so from then, from finding clarity in our path of a self-discovery journey, decided that we were going to pursue and take the leap and pursue music and to hopefully fulfill our dream as becoming performing artists. And that's where that turning point was.
Bravo for you for taking the leap. Very brave of you. That's
Thank you so
excellent.
much.
Yeah. What surprised you most about starting from scratch as a aspiring pop artist? What was like surprising that you didn't see that coming?
The surprising part, I guess, there was a lot. Well, the journey was like a lot of ups and downs, but I guess one of the surprising part was that we didn't need to have everything figured out to be able to take action and to start and to pursue our dreams. Because being in school and also being in banking, it's a lot of planning that we're used to. So we always want to plan the next step and see where everything goes, and then we take action.
Yeah,
but then
structure.
Yeah, very structured and very stable, things like that. But by following our dream and just taking the leap, we realized that we just had that drive and that passion and that we wanted to make a change, and that most important is to just have the belief in ourselves that we can move forward and that we can take action. And and you don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to believe in yourselves and have a little bit of like what's the next maybe 3 steps ahead, but you don't need to have the full 10 steps to know where you're doing. Yeah.
Right. Excellent. Okay. So then you've been doing this a while. Then when did you first feel that, we're not just chasing this, we are artists now, like performing maybe at the Voice of China or performing at the MGM resorts? Like when is the point that, I'm actually a singer on stage now? Do you have that moment feeling that?
I think throughout the journey, because we didn't start as being artists, we were, in corporate and banking. So as we're pursuing and joining competitions and performing, like the Voice of China in Hong Kong, then we still had that, like I felt it's kind of had that imposter syndrome in us, because we felt like, we're not artists, we're just singing, and then we're not artists. We're not artists, we were in banking, right? So we always had that imposter syndrome within us, and which, it's unfortunately causes like a lot, sometimes doubts and fears and insecurities within us. But then there's a turning point that like, I don't remember exactly when, but I think it's when we released our debut single on RTHK's commercial radio in Hong Kong. And that's when we realized, we're actually singer-songwriters releasing our actual first music that we wrote to the world, to everyone, to the world, and bringing out our personal story and everything and our emotions to the world. So at that point, I think we realized that yes, we are singer-songwriters and we can do it. And we are breaking free from the norm and breaking free from our fears, doubts, misunderstanding, judgment that we had circulating around our heads in the imposter syndrome, and realize that we can do this, and we are doing this. And that's what Awakening, like our debut mini album, embodies. Is that it's never too late to pursue your dream, and it's never too late to do what we love and what really embody and to find our authentic self and to live it. And there's a song in our Awakening debut mini album called The Box.
ID. Oh, the box.
There's ID, and then there's also The Box.
Yeah, right, The Box, yes.
It is basically, the song is very personal to us, because this song is our story of breaking free from what confines us. So all the fears, doubts, judgment, expectations, cultural expectations, whatever expectations you may have. And for this song, for anyone that resonates with this message, we really hope that The Box will give you the courage and empowerment to break free from all the things that's weighing you down, and break free from people who try to box you in, so that we can all keep growing and blossoming to the happiest, most authentic you. And that's what we really want to showcase and really want to convey in The Box.
Yes, that's wonderful. Yes, I've heard that in The Box, and ID I related to both as well. Just discovering yourself and self-discovery and finding who you are and where your passion is, right? So it's great that you carve out your own path, and there's no right or wrong answer. There's no straight path either for any artist. So you have to be brave enough to figure that out, right? So I guess that's how the I.Con Twins was created, the whole branding and your own artist name, right? It's very relatable for many creative individuals that feel too afraid to leap and take the big step. So bravo to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so let's go into the more detail about identity and creative process. Your genre sort of is like Chinese Canadian kind of new pop.
Yeah.
I noticed, a lot of blend of guzheng and erhu, and then Chinese instrument, the 2-string instrument, and the zither, right? How did that sound evolve, or did you always want to have that in when you're creating music in your mind, or was it added later, or how did it change?
Yeah, so actually our first debut single, it's Setting Fires. So it actually doesn't have much of the Chinese elements in there. It's a lot about, it's still orchestral pop and have all those strings, instruments and things like that, which we always loved. So for the Awakening album, it's when we decided that we wanted to create the Awakening album, then we realized that we wanted to be more like authentic and dig more into our roots. And that because we always felt like ourselves not fully represented in the mainstream pop, there's always a lot of amazing, like an incredible artist in both the Western pop and also the Chinese pop, the C-pop industry. But we really wanted to bridge that gap, especially for people in the diaspora areas like ourselves, because we're Chinese Canadians who live in both worlds, who have blended cultures, but we haven't found any music genre, I guess, that really fully represented ourselves in a diaspora. So our sound really came from asking, like, what do we wish existed when we were younger? And so that's when we were creating our debut mini album, Awakening, Wouldn't Sing. We wanted to really incorporate that into fully representing the Chinese Canadians and the diaspora community as well. And so that's how we wanted to combine all the Chinese elements, Chinese sounds, like you said, the guzheng, the DC, and then also the erhu as well. But then we're also Canadians, which we grew up with listening to a lot of Western pop.
Right. That's where the beat comes in.
The heavy beats.
Yes.
Yeah, but then we also loved the orchestral sounds as well. You know, like a lot of the strings instruments, the violin, the cello, you know, all that too. So we wanted to like how do we do that? So we were okay, well, art is that creative direction where we can just combine everything that we want. And so we did that, and then we worked with our producer to combine all the instruments and have that production ready. But then also the lyrics and the storytelling is super important to us. So that's why we wanted to have that as the one of the core elements in our music as well, which is the message.
Yeah, and to always convey the message of confidence, empowerment, and to be our authentic self.
Excellent. Yeah. So as twin sisters, how do you divide the roles in songwriting? Who brings the melody? Who brings the structure? Who says, cut that line and scrap that and add this?
We don't really have a structure. Like when we write music, it's all come from inspirations and how from our emotions,
messages.
Yeah, messages and what we want to convey at the moment. So we sometimes have like, okay, I feel this way, so we'll start. Maybe one of us will start writing, and then another one will chime in. It's like, oh yeah,
I got this inspiration. So this line, this has to go in there. And then I have this note, or I have this melody. Like, so we just could combine it. Sometimes we like write lyrics first because the messaging is always very important, and then but sometimes we write lyrics and the melody all at once. So then like I said, like one of us will start, or we'll and then the other one will come in, and then sometimes we'll like, because it's both of our art. So like, say if I've had like an idea, and it's like, hey, hear it out. But I'm very excited to hear it out, and then Calvina will be like, actually, like how about we change this line to this line instead, or change this word to this line to make it better. It's like, oh yeah, that works. I mean, but sometimes we don't always agree all the time, 100% of the time, because we always have creative, vision. So, but we always, compromise somehow, and then we always come back together. And because ultimately it's both of our goal and art, so then we always come back together too.
Yeah, and that's how Awakening came into life as well, which is how we collaboratively work together. So it's our vision, and we're so proud of it. We're so excited too. So
I think it's so great that two ideas sometimes is better than one, and just bounce off each other and hear me out kind of thing, right? And give feedback. So that's excellent that you have one person to do that, one other person to do that. Okay, so let's talk about what a typical songwriting session look like for you, from a blank page to demo to recording to producing. For our audience, young audience that want to start in making their own music, how does that look like in the process? 6 months, a year, just walk us through it.
Yeah, so of course it starts with the songs first. For like, it's different for every songwriter, but for ourselves, like we keep saying that, like, because the story is really important, the message is really important, so we write the songs first most of the time, and then it's not linear like a lot of people think. I guess it's creating an album is a process of like discovery. So we start with like a lot of ideas, like for ourselves, the songs and the messages, but then the project does evolve as you go. Because even when we thought that we had this like structure and this idea, but then when we were creating it, as long as some inspirations will come, some more ideas will come, and then maybe you'll make some changes, revise it a little bit, maybe you'll add to it, maybe you'll subtract out of it. And that's what we kind of did with Awakening, our album. Mm-hmm. And also for the songs wise, there's no like, oh, this every song takes an hour or every song takes a week. It's some songs come really quickly, but the others does fully reveal after, it could be like weeks, it could be like months, sometimes years for some songwriters. But for us, it's about really just staying open-minded, and while also keeping like very intentional and purposeful about the story and the messages that we want to tell. And also most important is just to be very authentic with ourselves. And that was the most important. So the process was, so we started with a song, and then after we had that going and had a vision of what we wanted, then for ourselves, we're writers, we write the lyrics, we compose the melodies, but then production wise, we actually hire a producer to do it for us. So we hired a Juno Award winning producer that's based in Calgary, and we worked with him and then told him about our vision and ideas, communicate that with him, and then he brought it to life. And then after that, we recorded. We went to the studio, which is the OCL Studios in Calgary, and in London, yeah. And so then we went there, and then we recorded our songs, and then after that, then and then we put it all together, and then we created the cover art, hired photographers, photos, and then graphic designers, graphic artists, and things like that. So and then we brought it to life.
Yeah, but I think you were saying for new artists or new aspiring artists that wants to like release music, I think two things I really want to that I think would recommend is to focus on is like, first of all, if you want to sing like and be a singer-songwriter, then I think you should really improve your vocal skills, like singing. So you have to be able to sing well to be able to showcase your art in the best way possible by conveying the message in your music and the storytelling as well. And so so that's why we really believe that like vocal coaching, like it's important to improve your skills. So that's why we were vocal coaches too, because we do want to help aspiring artists to improve that area as well. So that's one thing. And then second is to also like build your audience in the process, and then to make sure that when you release music, then you have audience to listen to your music.
Right. All comes in together, sort of everything in many, many facets, right? So for the recording process, so you have your in-house beat, like you have ideas, you write your lyrics and melody, all of that, you have your own sort of sample in-house and a demo kind of thing, or once you have everything, you work with a producer and they will create the layering, the melody, the background, and the instrumentation, and then you work more detail in the recording process there. How does that come about from you writing an idea on a piece of paper into like a demo and all of that? Or is that not linear, or just
I think every artist has their own process, but for us it is not linear either. It's like we write the music, and then we record like a demo or scratch track, like scratch tracks where put the full song together, and then we have to really have to communicate clearly to the producer like what we want in our music and what like type of instruments. If there's specific instruments like us, like erhu, dizi, and guzheng, then we really have to communicate that these are the important instruments that I want in all our tracks. So then please add that into the production piece, and then to give them to tell them what our message is. I mean the lyrics, basically lyrics and stuff like that, and then I think it really comes to clear communication between two parties like ourselves, and because no one can read our minds, no one can read your mind, so you really have to communicate clearly what you want. So and the communication process, that's very important. So then that's when then the whole song and the production piece comes together, and that's when we record it, and everything's flawless, and we record it in the studio. Yeah.
Yeah, having clarity is very important. Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. So you guys are independent artists, I guess. You're not signed on with any labels or anything. So you have full control of your artistic direction. And so you would be, I guess, working very close with the producer for your sound, I get that you want. And he will add on like how to layer your harmonies, lots of harmonies in your songs in there, and layering and how that works, right? So
Yes.
like, is it different working with independently than as opposed to as in Asia, you will have to sign on with a label, I believe so.
So actually, Asia is not all that different. There's two paths as well. So you can sign on with a label in Asia as well. When we were in Hong Kong, we did get approached by some managers and labels and things like that to sign us. But just at that point, it wasn't right for us. So then we didn't. So we wanted to stay more independent. And so actually in Asia and in Canada or in North America as well, you can do it independently or with a label. So the difference wise is that, like you said, independent artists do have full control as to when you want to release your music, what kind of music you want to release, where you don't have to go through maybe like a label or some kind of manager to kind of get their permission or get their feedback, things like that. So being independent artists is you have just have full control and full creative control as to when and what you want to release.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's depending on the individual artist, what you really want, what's authentic to you. For us, we want to stay independent, and we're still independent in releasing our music. So, and we're certainly proud of it, and we learned a lot and confident about that. Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So, is there anything that's technically most challenging during recording, or that you find anything that
during the recording process?
Yeah. Or that you recorded.
Yeah. So, well, for ourselves, I'll just say we're a little bit overthinkers and perfectionists as well. So I guess balancing perfection and completion was one of our major challenges for us, because like you can keep like for art and for your project, if you want to be perfect, you can always keep refining, keep making changes, but at some point you just have to let go of the perfectionism and move forward, because if you keep refining and you keep just trying to improve things, it's never gonna come to light. Yeah. So we learned that an album doesn't need to be perfect. It needs to be authentic to who you are, honest, and also cohesive and telling your story. And that's should be enough. So there are, like, for Awakening, when we're creating, there are moments when we had to choose between overthinking and trusting ourselves. So during the process, we really learned about really trusting ourselves and moving forward and just taking action. Mm-hmm. And that's what it reflected in the full album and the music, to be authentic and to keep moving forward.
Great. Okay, let's talk about building your audience here. As an independent artist between Canada and Hong Kong, how do you plan your release and build your audience?
So for independent, because as an independent artist, you don't have like a company like backing you and doing all the promotion stuff for you and marketing for you. So as an independent artist, we really have to do some planning here. That's where our corporate skills come into play, and also your education come into play. It's when we really need to do planning ahead of time. The planning is important, where because then there's not linear, depending on what's authentic to the individual artist, like how you want to promote and spread your music. It's dependent on you. For us as independent, I think strongly, of course, it would be social media. Social media can reach a lot of people worldwide. It's not just one specific geographic area. You can reach a lot of people in Asia. Even though you're in Canada, you can reach people in Asia, Hong Kong, like in the US or wherever you want to target. So I think social media is really one of the main things that for independent artists to really focus on, and also to learn how to create content, like engaging content. It's also important, and deciding how you want to share your story in a different entry point, and not just one point of access to your music, but just different entry points, so then different people and different audience can reach you and find you.
Yeah, and then also it's about not just trying to find an audience or find people to listen to. It's about creating connection and community around it, and that's the most important, because you're inviting people into the world of your music, of the album. So it's not just like the songs of themselves, like, hey, go listen to it. So we're grateful that's why we created a private Neo-Chinese Pop Facebook group where we have about 800 plus members, which they can connect with each other, learn more about the music together and creating community that way and connection that way, because that's very important to us as well, to create that community. And with Awakening, we wanted to really focus on building the deeper connection with our audience and just inviting them into the meaning and behind each song about a full album, and with hopes that hopefully they'll feel more of a sense of belonging too, that went through their journey of awakening. Yeah. That's very important to us, and building that connection with the audience.
Right. So do you notice is there any difference between the audience in like Asian audience and Canadian audience, and how do you build trust in both two different markets? Like the approach to consumer behavior or connections with the different markets?
I think it comes down to like our culture, right? Like that's Chinese and Asian households. Sometimes we are like, we can take long, like we're more conservative sometimes, or we tend to take more time to, I guess it takes more time to convert some Asian audience. So that's why digging deep into our roots, our Chinese roots, and to sharing our culture, that part of our culture, and to increasing that awareness, and then showing that, like we said before, like in the mainstream pop, we don't see a lot of, artists that looks like us. So like having that representation is important. So then I think just continue to share our message and share that representation can attract like more, I think, that the Chinese diaspora audience that are like us, and they just continue to share and have different entry points into our story and our music. And then in terms of Western audience, like, because our music itself is already in English, so then that already attracts, the language attracts like Western audience that likes, or
Canadian
like
born, right.
like that likes, like Chinese Canadian, or the East and West, how East meets West cultural aspect of it. So yeah, there are definitely differences between the two, but ultimately I think we're all human and we all need that confidence and empowerment to build that connection. Everyone needs connection, so that's why we built that private Facebook group too. It really doesn't matter where you're from, you're Asian or if you're Canadian or Western, then all of us can really be in a community together and to connect with each other in a positive and empowering way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Excellent. So your name I.Con stands for I am confident, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How do you cultivate confidence when numbers or streams or algorithms fluctuate so much?
Well, for ourselves, the core is to be authentic. So like you said, like the algorithm and the numbers and things like that, they change all the time. And those things we can't control. It's beyond our control because it's always changing. So for ourselves, whether it's creating music, whether it's creating content, whether it's, building our community and in social media or even offline as well. We just want to be authentic to who we are and not chase those numbers and not chase those algorithms and try to, try to control it, I guess, but because those are beyond our control. So I think the most important is just knowing and have clarity of who we are as people, who we are as artists, and who we want to be, and what kind of messages we want to convey to our audience and to our fans. That's the most important, and that we can just keep moving forward, and that we don't need to have everything figured out. We don't have to have full control of what's going on in the social media world and the algorithms, numbers, and things. That those things are really beyond our control. We believe strongly that as long as we keep moving forward, we have clarity on who we are and who we want to be and who we want to grow into, then we can just keep moving forward. And the more we take action, the more we do, then the more we're going to learn, the more we're going to grow. And that's really how we believe in ourselves, and how we can continue to have confidence in ourselves and move forward. And even if there are times when we don't feel confident, then we just have that belief that we can do it, because we've overcame, look how far we've come, from even just a year ago or 5 years ago. And try not to compare ourselves with other people and the numbers. I know it's hard. It's easy to say, but it's hard, but it's just to really have that belief in ourselves that we can keep moving forward, and to keep believing in ourselves that we can overcome anything that comes in the future.
Excellent. Yes. Okay. So to wrap this up now, maybe one sentence each for you to describe who you are as an artist today, as opposed to when you started, and maybe, how much you have accomplished or changed, or what would you like to project for the future?
One sentence.
Or maybe two sentences. So a short blurb.
Okay, I'll say, I am confident and I am proud of who I've become, and And I will continue to break free from anything that holds me back and to continue to share my music, share our neo-Chinese pop music to anyone who resonates and to anyone that feels connected with us and our music.
Just for myself, I want to say that for anyone and for myself, if I ever feel lost, or if you ever feel lost or helpless or stuck, there's always a hero inside of us waiting to be released. Even if it's more than one sentence, so there's a hero inside of us. We hold the reins in our life. We can create our happiness. We can create the changes that we want in our lives. We just have to keep believing, keep going, and to keep fighting for ourselves and for what we believe in, because we are confident and we can become the authentic and most happiest and confident selves in the future.
Great. Thank you. Long sentence, yes.
In between.
That's okay. Thank you both for sharing your journey so openly today, from walking away from certainty to building a life in music. Your story is very powerful and reminder that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about becoming who you are meant to be, right? So thank you for listening, everyone. If you relate, you can check out I.Con Twins on their page, and don't forget to share and like Making It in Music, our podcast. And I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lily.
I'll stop